Hello, you are watching the latest edition of Dbe TV News. Thank you for watching this bulletin every Friday on the Dbe TV channel 122 on Open View at 12 p.m. and on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. Remember to share the link with your friends, family, and anyone in your circles. Welcome. I am Tsehohajo Moagi. In our top stories this week, Murray Viljoen High School takes the top prize at the Monetary Policy Schools Challenge. The department readies itself to roll out the General Education Certificate. The KZN Education Department celebrates the coronation of King Misuzulu Kazwelithini. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga and the Governor of the South African Reserve Bank, Lesetja Kganyago, have congratulated the winners of the 2022 Monetary Policy Committee Schools Challenge. They have also thanked the teachers who worked earnestly with them to ensure they take part in the competition and are knowledgeable about the monetary policy. Learners from Murray Viljoen High School in Alberton, Ekurhuleni took the top prize in the competition.
Just like to say I'm honored to be here today with an amazing team, and we are grateful to be the winners today. We will never be able to know how much this challenge has meant for us. The amount of knowledge and insight we've gained in March when we started this challenge is mind-blowing. Not to mention the 5-star treatment we've experienced this all journey along. The taste of corporate life was amazing, and we witnessed more and more at what our future holds. We have no words to thank the Reserve Bank for this incredible experience they've given us. Thank you for Mpo, Vivian and Carol that have kept on our toes throughout the experience. Thank you for the assessors that have marked hundreds of essays. I believe you have been provided with some entertainment. We have still so much to learn. Thank you also to the judges that has made the time to come and listen to us. You made us feel at ease when we were beyond manageable stress levels. We wish we had the words to express our gratitude to you and everyone else at the Reserve Bank. Thank you for the amazing prizes, but most of all, thank you for the opportunity you've exchanged us to apply the bursaries for our studies. We have no words to express how much this means to us.
The MPC Challenge was created to afford learners the opportunity to acquire knowledge on how monetary policy works. It is hoped the initiative would also create interest amongst learners and in turn build an understanding broadly on how economics work in their day-to-day lives. South African Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago said it was pleasing to see more girls taking part in the competition. He also explained what was expected from the learners.
This year, for the very first time, we also extended an invitation to independent schools through the Independent Examination Board, and I am happy that they too could join us here today. As some of you may recall, in 2021 we suspended the challenge due to COVID-19 pandemic. In 2021, we hosted the entire process virtually. This year we introduced a hybrid approach, something we hope to continue to do going forward. We are pleased that 225 schools attended the briefing sessions for learners and teachers, and 102 schools submitted essays that are required to proceed to the next level of the competition. These essays are prepared in the same format as the sub-MPC statement, and so when you hear the learners, they actually introduce each other as governor and fellow MPC members. Clearly their ambitions are not hidden. My job is on the line. The statement must reflect global and domestic economic conditions and factors, and reflect the decision of the learners on its monetary policy stance. it is pleasing to note that essays were received from all provinces, confirming that this is indeed a national competition.
Minister Angie Motshekga spoke about the importance of the competition for the basic education sector.
Really, as I say, value this program, Governor, because it does indeed expose our learners to monetary policy of the bank, how to set the repo rate, but it also, as I say, encourages schools that offer maths and science, and maths and economics to be part of this. And it really promotes teamwork, because I've witnessed quite a number of such functions where you can see that really by the time the learners leave the process or get out of the process, they've been able to develop or build their teamwork skills. And indeed, it's crucial for us, the Department of Education. It offers our learners opportunity to understand, as I say, the monetary policy, improve in terms of analysis and the gap between theory and practice, and demystifies and promote the career in economics and mathematics.
Kganyago expressed his satisfaction at the projects done by the learners.
The main purpose of the MPC Schools Challenge is to promote an interest in economics and deepen the understanding of monetary policy in the broader South African public. The quality of the essays and the presentations are evidence that the objective of expanding the understanding of monetary policy is being achieved. To our learners, remember that nothing of value comes without an effort. Your presence here as finalists bears testimony to your commitment, your hard work, and your dedication. We encourage you to pursue careers in the field of economics, and actually in the field of central banking. I've got no doubt, looking at the quality of the presentations that are emerging, that the future of central banking is in this country indeed with women.
Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga delivered the keynote address at the District Development Model Lekgotla. One of the objectives of the Lekgotla is to align plans and activities of education districts and provinces to the District Development Model approach in 52 districts or municipalities. Under the DDM, all three spheres of government coordinate and integrate development plans and budgets and mobilize the capacity and resources of government and civil society, including business, labor, and the community. Motshekga said the model is about one district, one budget, and one set of priorities, and involves all tiers of government.
One of the advantages of working across government is that social workers, even municipal social workers, have the opportunity to visit homes so they can extend beyond schools. So if they identify a child who's at risk, they are able, with working, because the whole idea is to work together in the different spheres, but also to work cross-government. So working with municipal social workers are able to reach the homes and make sure that there can be support even to the families if the dysfunctionality that the child is exposing in school comes from the family. And those are some of the things that we hope the DDM model will assist us, because as I say, we're a very important sector. We're everywhere with a footprint, but everybody just thinks we can solve every problem. When children are pregnant, we are being asked. When children are violent, we are being asked. When children, everything else is really asked from us. And there can be any problem in communities is acceptable, not in education. They complain sometimes to me to say, we use pediatrics. I said, but yes, they have to be safe, but where does pediatrics? It means that there's no water in the community, so it means that using pediatrics at home, but it cannot happen in education. And I think we've accepted it. So I'm very excited, that we're at that point where we are really looking at how we can strengthen government's ability to work with communities.
Motshekga also highlighted how, through the early education, early childhood development centers, government is working as one.
ECD is one of the pilot program that we can take to say, what is it that we can do together to pull all the services of government and make everybody come on board? And I think we have lots of opportunities. So I'm really looking forward to making sure that we get to the reports and the follow-up, and with the lead department as is expected. Everybody expects us to lead. That's why everybody's on our case. And I've come to accept that everybody, if anything happens in education, it's a big story. It can happen anywhere else, but not in education. I've come to accept the importance of the sector. And before I sit, Chair, this is the Women's Month. That's the reason I went to the Eastern Cape, and I couldn't miss it. And I think it was also a very important event that the Eastern Cape was doing, because it was launching a forum of women in education. And I think it's a very big, helpful development, and it's that we should also do wherever we are in our areas, because of the centrality and the importance of women and mothers in every society.
Meanwhile, Director General Matanzima Mweli gave a breakdown of the basic education system.
Performing at the same level that other countries of the same size of the economy as us in international tests. MECs, we have improved our performance, as I said earlier on. There's only one test where we did not improve and where we did not go down. That is PILS, Progress in International Reading and Literacy Studies, PILS. In TIMS, Trends in International Studies for Mathematics and Science, we improved. In SAPMEC, we significantly moved positions. We moved from somewhere in the bottom. We are now breathing very close to Kenya. I told them, they visited us a few weeks ago. I said to them, watch the space. We're going to overtake you in SAPMEC. In our national tests, our results have just been improving phenomenally over the years. 70% used to be our class ceiling. We've tasted 80%, and we are going back there. And I want to say, the National Planning Commission in 2010 and 2011 observed from the diagnostic report that 80% of our schools were dysfunctional. But I can say it now without any fear of any contradiction, more than 80% of our schools are fully functional. And I'm saying more than 80% of our schools are fully functional, because that's where the results come from. Give yourselves a big hand of applause.
Stay tuned. After the break, we hear more about the General Education Certificate.
Research is showing that NSFAS supporting students on average are performing better than non-NSFAS supported students, which is also something that is very important, because it says this almost complete wraparound program by government of NSFAS students is become very important. Also, the change from NSFAS being a loan to being a bursary has also made a very big difference, because it has now even opened access to students, even in those institutions that were unaffordable in the earlier phase of NSFAS. Universities that have been more expensive, like University of Cape Town, Stellenbosch, Wits University, Pretoria, there's been a huge increase of the numbers of black students from poor families directly as a result of NSFAS and the kinds of difference that it has actually made.
The Basic Education Department held a workshop to look into the progress of the General Education Certificate. The GEC is currently being piloted in a few selected schools within the country. This certificate, which will be given to grade 9 learners, is expected to address the current problem of young people leaving the education system each year with no national qualification, hindering them from navigating the labor market. The GEC is predicated on the 3-stream model, which has the academic pathway, the technical vocational pathway, and the technical occupational pathway. The department says offering a GEC is not an indication of the exit of learners from a learning pathway in schools, but that it provides better decision-making for and access to further learning after grade 9. In the workshop, various recommendations were made.
And some of the key recommendations coming out of this particular workshop is that in terms of the GEC, that the focus should not just be on the certificate, but the focus needs to be on looking at improvement of teaching, learning and assessment from grade R into grade 9. And the certificate should be the ultimate based on improvement in teaching, learning and assessment from grade R to grade 9. I think there was a lot of input made with regard to the curriculum, and obviously the GEC will be based on the form and structure of the curriculum that will be implemented in the GET. The department is currently busy with what we're referring to as a curriculum roadmap, and that roadmap is basically going to look at the curriculum process based on where we are, where we need to get to, and how do we need to get there.
Dr. Polia went on to explain that those who were part of the workshop emphasized the importance of focusing on learning.
That which has come up very strongly is this move away from examinations, a move away from assessment for the purpose of scores to assessment which focuses on learning. What has happened in the South African context is that much of the attention has been focused on the grade 12 certificate. And we're hoping that with the introduction of grade 9 being now a critical area and making sure that the assessment from grade R to grade 9 is not just about a certificate, but about what is it that the learner has acquired in terms of skills, knowledge, values, attitudes, and character. If the assessment can focus on that holistic nature of the learner, and if we are able to identify where are the gaps in terms of the learner's process of learning, and if our teachers can then address that before the learner exits grade 9, then we would have done justice in terms of the issuing of a certificate at the end of grade 9.
He added that the department is currently dealing with some of the system's challenges.
I think the point that came up very strongly in terms of the workshop is that we can get the curriculum right, we can get our teachers to be competent, we can get the assessment right, but if some of the systemic issues are not addressed, which currently are major challenges in the South African context, then we are not going to be able to take quality learning to where it needs to be. And these systemic challenges that I refer to are one that the department is addressing and doing the best it can, but obviously these are major backlogs coming from a number of years of our past history, and therefore these are some of the systemic changes that we need to attend to, which relates to issues of class size. No teacher can be productive and effective in a classroom of 40 and 50. We need to look at support being provided to the teacher in the school. And this is where our SMT, the principal, the heads of department, need to become more effective agents of instructional support. Thirdly, we're also looking at our districts and our subject advisors and the kind of support that they provide. So these are some of the most systemic issues that we need to make sure that we address concurrently while we are dealing with issues of curriculum and assessment and of teacher development.
The Good Work Foundation, situated in Hazy View in Mpumalanga, has thanked all its partners and sponsors as it celebrated its 10-year anniversary. Deputy Minister Dr. Regina Mhaule was at the celebrations, together with managers from the Basic Education Department. The foundation believes in a future where everyone can take part in the fourth industrial revolution. They are determined to continue creating innovative digital learning campuses, responsive programs, and demand-led social enterprises, all working together to create an accessible, opportunity-packed world for the next generation.
One of the key things about the celebration is the progress that the school has made in terms of making digital learning available to its learners, embracing the demands of the 4IR and firmly placing the learners onto that trajectory. Technology has permeated every aspect of our life, and the evolution of technology is just very fast, and the education has not been spared as well. And we are also leveraging on the benefits that technology brings into the education space in terms of connectivity, in terms of equipping teachers with the skills for them to be able to practice their trade within a digital environment, getting learners to access all the resources and learn using all the platforms that are available, and as well as making all the content available through multimedia platforms and all other platforms that are available. All this seeks to enhance provision of education in a very fast evolving world.
Schooling has resumed at the Arthur Mfebe High School in Xofimvaba in the Eastern Cape. This after it had to be closed for a week after a learner from the school was shot and killed in full view of teachers and other learners inside the school premises in August. The motive for the killing is still unknown, but a case of murder and attempted murder has been opened.
Asizukwazi usisombulula ingxaki ze-communities. Yiyo laa nto ndiyibeke yacaca phaa into yobana sinengxaki. Urhulumente ufakwa nalapha angangeni indawo khona. Umzekelo nje babendisenza umzekelo phaa ndisithi umzekelo ngosine-gender-based violence ekhoyo in the country. Ingabe ufuna undixelela into yobana indoda nendoda funeka inepolisa layo loyigada ukuze ikhusele ifemeli yayo nomfazi wayo. Ibonakalisa ungabikho kwe-value systems ezikhoyo emakhaya nakwi-communities. Ndizawufunisa ke ngoku urhulumente mhlawumbe abe nee-programs zokuzi-educata ii-communities to take responsibilities. But beyond that, thina singurhulumente ke ngosijonge i-safety and security yabantwana njengoba besesiqalile kule nto ye-fencing for example. At least ngoku ke umntu abonwe esiza phaa ngaphandle kwesikolo, angasuka abonwe selapha ngaphakathi. Mhlawumbe we could have kept that le incident yase-Arthur Mfebe ubana ngaba mhlawumbe iqinile i-security system karhulumente apha ezikolweni.
Now when we return, we are in KZN as the Education Department celebrates the new Zulu King.
I am a nurturer, like you.
Real men stand against gender-based violence.
I get hurt, like you.
If I am a victim of violence, I too will not be ashamed to report violence and abuse.
I hate it when someone violates me, like you.
In a violent situation, there is power in walking away. I will not take part in fights at school.
All I want is to feel safe, to feel loved, and to be free to show love, like you.
I cry when I'm hurt, because to feel is to be human. I pledge to be more open about my emotions.
Make it part of the new normal for young boys to be nurtured and loved, to freely express themselves and to show love in a safe, inclusive way. We have different gender identities, but first, we are human. If you need assistance to help your child, contact Childline on 08000 55 555.
KwaZulu-Natal MEC Mbali Fraser has urged and encouraged learners to be proud of their tradition. She was speaking during a visit to Ngabaga Zulu High School in KwaMashu to celebrate the coronation of King Misuzulu Kazwelithini with teachers, learners and non-teaching staff. Learners were encouraged to wear their traditional attire on the day as part of the celebration and to honor the king. The MEC was joined by the provincial head of department, Nkosinathi Ngcobo, and representatives from the Zulu Royal House. The provincial department says it wants all learners and teachers to take pride in their culture and tradition while understanding the non-racial and non-sexist posture of the democratic society.
Culture ayisdivide bantabami iyasihlanganisa sizwana iyasihlanganisa asigqokanga namhlanje ukucwasa abanye abantu cha sigqokela ukuthi siyavuma ukuthi singamaZulu futhi siyabonga ukuthi sesinesilo sesibekiwe emva kwezinto ezibuhlungu ekade zisenzekele endlunkulu yethu sizwana ngakho ke siyafisa ukuthi kube umlayezo esizowushiya bese sisho ukuthi ziyeza izifundo ezisemthethweni ezizobe zizosifundisa kabanzi ngesilo sethu. Namhlanje siyabungaza nje kuphela asizuthatha isikhathi esiningi kepha ziyeza izifundo Mntwana uThulane uyasilekelela ubaba uMtaka ngomsebenzi othize aseqedile ukwenza esizowuthula ngokusemthethweni bese abantwana bewuthola umlando unjengoba unjalo ngoba kubalekile ukuthi esikoleni umlando uthole unjengoba unjalo and okuhle kunako konke bantabami ukuthi kuzobe kuumlando esizibhalele thina wona esingabhalelwanga abanye abantu abangazi lutho ngathi.
A member of the provincial legislature spoke about the importance of young people knowing about their culture.
Ifuture yomuntu emnyama iqala kwi-culture nekusasa nokuthi ikusasa lakho lizoma kanjani. Bantu abami hloniphani emakhaya. Bantu abami hloniphani othisha. Bantu abami hloniphani izwe lenu. Bantu abami hloniphani ubukhosi. Ngoba ubukhosi ikona kodwa esinabo thina njengabantu abamnyama esizigqaja ngabo okuyi-culture ethu ephuma wonke umuntu womhlaba ezobona uZulu. Bokhuluma ngenkosi uShaka akukho lapho ofika khona emhlabeni kungakhulunywa ngawo. Bokhuluma ngamaZulu aziwa all corners of the world. Therefore, my kids, be proud of being Zulus. Be proud of your culture.
Wasibiza savuma anankosi yohlanga. Wasibiza savuma anankosi yohlanga. Anankosi yohlanga. Anankosi yohlanga. Anankosi yohlanga.
That's how we end this bulletin this week on Channel 122 on OpenView and on YouTube. But before we go, the National Senior Certificate timetable has been released. The first exam, English Paper 1, will be written on the 31st of October. Get the full timetable on the Department of Basic Education's website. Thank you for watching.